Hi, this is Richie Porte of the INEOS Grenadiers, and you are listening to the Turbo Talks podcast.
Alright welcome back to the Turbo Talks podcast. My name is Rob Pauw, I am your host, and today we are diving into the final week of this year's Giro d'Italia. The peloton has been on its way to the finish in Verona for 2 weeks now. But if you look at the stages that are yet to come, you might say the Giro is only starting after this second rest day. Some monstrous mountain stages and a hilly time trial are waiting the riders in the final week. And our guest from today hopes to finish the final Grand Tour of his career on a high, with the pink jersey on the shoulders of his teammate Richard Carapaz. But it's a pleasure to have him on the show, the one and only original Richie. It's Richie Porte of INEOS Grenadiers. G'day Richie, how are you going after 2 weeks of racing?
Yeah, not too bad. A little bit frazzled, but I think everybody's in the same boat. It's been a pretty hectic race, and as you say, the hardest days are yet to come. But I think we're in a good place, and we've got a good team, and we're ready for the battle.
Is that a bit of the feeling in the peloton? There's a bit of fear for that last week.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Even yesterday was a battle for the breakaway. I think it took 80 Ks before it went, 50 kilometre an hour kind of stuff. So, there is a bit of fear and trepidation. Of course, there's going to be especially the next 2 days. And, tomorrow's stage, arguably the Queen stage of the Giro, coming up off the back of a rest day. You just don't know what's going to happen with the legs. And, I guess we're all in the same boat. We've all been through the same things, but it's just after a rest day, you just never know what your legs are going to do.
Even in your 17th Grand Tour that you're riding, you still don't know what the rest day brings and how you will cope with it, or?
No, I mean that's the one thing you kind of have to do is, you can't let the legs go to sleep when you're on the bike. You have to kind of do a few little efforts out on the road, and then you have to fuel it as well. We just finished lunch, and you have a big lunch, to be honest. Even though you're not doing much, you kind of have to force yourself to eat the right amount, and it's all fueling for the next days, and such a hard last week. I mean, who'd have expected that it'd be so tight on GC after 15 days of racing, and then also we've had a heat wave, which is kind of unheard of in the Giro, really.
Yeah, is that something that caught people off guard, caught riders off guard, and you see how that it's a different way to adapt to that, or?
Yeah, look, I think for me, there's been stages where I wasn't expecting it to be so hard. Like last Tuesday, the stage that was 100 kilometers pan flat, and then the last 75 k's were these brutal little climbs, and the heat was, it was the first time we'd really encountered heat like that. But then looking at the stage in Torino on Saturday, I don't think anybody was quite prepared for that. It was absolute mayhem, one of those days that really puts hair on your chest. Like it was something I've never experienced in a Grand Tour, and I really hope, the rest of the week, I know it's going to be hard, but I hope it's not unexpected carnage like it was on Saturday.
I think a little bit of the weather forecast, it might cool down a little bit and even get some rain.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some mountain storms the next 2 days, which I think everybody's kind of holding out for, a little bit of rain, cool it down a bit. It'll be very welcome.
Yeah, so you might go from the one extreme to the next. Is that another challenge that has just been thrown in next to like the course and the stages that we already said are going to be so hard, and then if you're going to have like a different change or sudden change in weather again, how is that going to affect the body?
Yeah, look, I think when we were in the valleys yesterday and it was a little bit cooler, the body was just crying out for that, to be honest. It seemed like everybody got a little bit more of a bit more reprieve, and then everybody wants to be in the breakaway. So I think if we do get rain or storms these next 2 days, it's not going to be too cold. Having said that, kind of hope for the best, expect the worst, don't you, really, in the Grand Tour?
And now, you already said in the beginning, you're in a good place with the team, obviously with Richie and Pink. You guys are probably ready to defend it. What are the vibes within the team?
Look, it's been from the get-go, it's been a brilliant vibe. We've got a really good bunch of guys here, pretty close-knit. We when we can, we have dinner and breakfast together, and everybody's happy. I guess it's easy to be happy when things are going well, isn't it? But everybody here deserves to be here, and we're doing a great job as a team. It reminds me of the Sky Days, when we'd probably laughed the loudest at the dinner table of any of the teams. It's been a real pleasure to be a part of, to be honest.
Yeah, and you've been part of those Sky teams who won Grand Tours before, obviously Tour de France with Wigo once and with Froome twice. What's the difference in a team riding for Richie, for Carapaz? What type of a leader is he compared to the other guys?
Probably say more that he's probably not as calculated as Froome or Wigo. I mean, those guys could always count on their time trials, whereas Richie, he loves an attack. We've seen it before. He's a killer. He's an absolute boy racer, and he just loves to go for it. And I think it's exciting to see. But I think these next days, we're going to altitude at some point in the race as well. So that's only going to be good for him, and also he likes a bit of rain as well. So it's kind of coming into his territory. I wouldn't want to race against him, put it that way.
So I'd say it sounds like you guys got this one in the pocket, Richie.
Far from it, but it is nice to have such a strong and powerful team, but it's not easy. It might look easy to sit there in the line and be dropping guys, but it's not easy. Let me tell you that when you're actually under the pump and trying to do it, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, and you already mentioned sort of like those earlier Sky days. How would you compare? How would you compare that era with now, and now being back on Sky? What's been changed in the team?
Probably more like staff coming and going. To be honest, we lost Tim Carrison last year, and and I think all good things come to an end, don't they? But probably more like that. Rod Ellingworth was here for so long, then he went, and now he's come back. And to be fair, he's done a really great job here with getting that vibe and bubble. Like it's kind of been a skeleton crew, so to speak. If there's not a lot of people on race here like there are at the Tour. At the Tour, there's probably twice as many staff as riders, or more, to be honest. So it's kind of been nice here. That just feels a little bit more low key, and we've just had the same staff around, but. In terms of the vibe between Team Sky and INEOS, I think it's gone back to that we all get along so well here, and it's always easier to sacrifice for somebody that you really get along well with, which I did with Froome and Wigo, and now with Richie Carapaz.
And does Richie Carapaz sort of like embody maybe also the new race approach of INEOS Grenadiers? You already said like he's a killer, he's one to attack. Is that sort of like changed as well?
Yeah, I mean, it is like, he's impulsive too. It's like if he feels he's got the foot on the throat, he's always going to go for it. And I think we saw that on Saturday. He's not afraid to go for the old long bomb, and it's hard to pick him. He can race in the heat, can race in the cold. He can do everything. Sometimes maybe it'd be nice if he'd chill his boots a bit and just maybe let us do the damage, but I think he's in a great place. He wants to attack, and it's good to keep everybody guessing what his next move might be.
And if you look at the next stages, you already mentioned maybe the Queen stage tomorrow, another really tough mountain stage on Wednesday, maybe take a little bit of a breather on Thursday before Friday and Saturday are again bonkers, and you got that final time trial on Sunday. How do you feel about your own role in that last week?
I mean, I know what it is now. It's like quite defined, isn't it? We've got this pink jersey, we want to have it, still on Sunday. So it's sort of all hands on deck, really. It's like it's a different stress to doing it for yourself, but I actually find it easier, to be able to do it for somebody like Richie, who you believe can win this race. It's not such a sacrifice, and he's put his hand up and taken the pressure on, and he's delivered so well so far. So let's hope that he can take the pink T-shirt all the way to Verona.
Are you sort of like relieved that you don't have to carry that stress yourself anymore as a leader? Or?
Put it this way, on Saturday when we got into that circuit, I was like, thank God I don't have to fight tooth and nail for on this course. But yeah, I mean it's easier to come into your last Grand Tour and be able to enjoy it when you don't have the it's like a perceived weight of the world on your shoulders. When you're riding GC, it's not enjoyable, put it that way.
Did it really felt like that to you?
Maybe in other teams, where in other teams where you didn't have a team like we have here to back you up. I mean, even like last year when I won the Dauphiné, it's like a race I always wanted to win. But then at the same time, I had like, Kwiatkowski, ex-world champion, Geraint Thomas, Tour de France winner, Theo, who'd won the Giro, like, Dylan Van Baarle, who's, just won Roubaix. I had all those guys chipping in. It's like with this team, it is all in. If you've got a jersey, that's what they're really good at, is defending it and winning bike races. Whereas, if you look at BMC or to a lesser degree Trek, because I had guys like Mads Peterson to hold my hand through some of the trickiest times. Here that you are lucky that you just have that much firepower to call upon. So hopefully we can do that for Richie Carapaz this last week.
Yeah. And does the sort of like the cycling fan realize enough like the stress or the expectations that they put on you guys and what you're going through to prepare for like a Grand Tour event to actually be ready? Or
yeah, look, I mean, I find it more when you're watching, you watch it on TV on a crosswind stage, and it just looks like, we're all rolling along, having a great time. But it's an absolute...
I think I lost you for a second there, Richie. You still there?
Sorry, we're back. And it's like a duck underwater, isn't it? It's like, everybody looks cool, calm and collected at the outset, but underwater, it's terrible, those stages, just sheer panic.
And do you feel, is it maybe something for you in the next week as well to maybe show that confidence and maybe put on that brave face and say, okay, there's nothing to gain here, this is us?
A little bit, of course, if we have numbers at the front and we're all having a good day, then it is hard to attack, like you saw it yesterday. Like, why would you attack when there's still 5 of us sat there and Richard Carapaz, who's not afraid to take it on, is there as well. It is a good place to be, and it looks easy when we do it. But the fact that we're probably the only team with those numbers there is speaks volumes of this team.
Yeah, and I must imagine it's probably going to be like the dream ending of your Grand Tour career if you end up with pink.
Oh, it'd mean the world to me to have ridden another Grand Tour and to be part of a winning team. It'd be couldn't think of a much better way to go out, to be honest.
And talk about going out, obviously the season doesn't end with the Giro d'Italia. What's next for you after this Giro? What's sort of like on your calendar for the farewell tour, as we might call it that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's quite hard to pick because there's so many guys that want to race and young guys who need to race. But for the moment, my end game would be Tour of Britain. So I really hope that's the way it ends. My wife's British and my 2 kids have British passports, so it's kind of like our second home. So it'd be nice to be able to go there. It's a great race, fantastic crowds, and kind of pull up stumps somewhere that has a bit of meaning to me.
So that would make it full circle.
Exactly. So, no, I mean, and that's the thing is just, this week's going to be stressful, but there are enjoyable times, when we do a good team performance, it's still, very enjoyable to be a part of.
So what's the thing then that you're going to miss the most when it's all
The thing
over?
I'm probably riding my bike, to be honest. It's been an absolute pleasure to do something you enjoy so much and to be paid to do it. I mean, there's not many people that get to do that. But if you ask me what I'm not going to miss, there's probably a bigger list of things, especially when you have a family at home and you have to leave them, and just the other stresses of, you can never really let go. You have to sort of stay on you can't have a beer without feeling guilty, even in the off season, just things like that. It'd be nice to have a normal life.
All right. Well, I think that's definitely something that you deserve after all those years entertaining us all in the peloton. So, Richie, thanks for that.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to have you on, and all the best for the final week of this Giro. Have a great last couple of months of your incredible cycling career, and let's bring that pink jersey home with the boys who are the rest of the team.
Thanks a lot.
All right. And thank you everyone for listening. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a 5-star rating and review to help spread the word about the podcast. And in the meantime, make sure you do what Richie does when the going gets tough in the next couple of days. Just never stop cycling. This was Rob Howe with Richie Porte of INEOS Grenadiers. Stay tuned for the next Turbo Talks.